She's saying no, but
she's mad, but she still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, good to be back in your lives. Welcome in, everyone, wherever you may be listening or watching. Today is Friday, January 10th, 2025. It's a fucking cold one here on the Northeast, kid. How the hell you doing down there in South Carolina?
What a way to kick off 2025, am I right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I got a little bit of everything for everyone today. You know, totals, little props, little dogs, little straight picks, little official leans. I'm cooking up something special for our first picks of 2025.
I can't wait. We got a rematch from 2019 between Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Ribas. Can't wait to get into that. UFC Vegas. It's back at where it belongs, at the Apex, baby. UFC Vegas 101. We'll dive into that in just a little. We got a 2-pack for you for 10 seconds left at the end of the show. Main event in LFA, and also got the main event in One Fight Night 27 as well. We got some news to talk about UFC Seattle. We got UFC London fights as well. I got a little message from Don Davis to you as well, but kid, we got to look back. No way better to start 2025 pick show than looking at a little rewind, looking back at our plays from 2024. I did my homework that you asked. You were a little ahead of the schedule, so I will let you lead it off. What was your record for 2024? Because transparency is key here.
Absolutely, man. And I'll break it all down for you. So my overall picks record, glad that I have a lot more winners than losers. A lot of losses, so I'm trying to fix that in 2025. But overall record was 345, 259, and 4. So that's straight up picks. Parlay record went 18-13. Lean record went 11-3. Dana White Contender Series, we did well there. 24-15 with 6-0 on totals, predicting how the fights and when they would end properly. And then also, like I said, about 10 seconds left. 40 wins, 20 losses, and 2 draws. So we're completely profitable across the board.
Love it. Love to see that as well. Now, as you know, Joey picks mostly every fight as opposed to me. I'm very selective on what I do pick. But for me, total 2024, 141 wins and 104 losses. We are up units across the board. Regardless of what you wanted to pick, we were giving out winners last year. I ended this year 4 out of 5 weeks with a winning record, 4-2, 3-0, 4-6, 4-2. So, Joe, we are locked and loaded, kid. Can't wait for 2025. We did good, but we have to do fucking better in 2025.
Yeah,
and I didn't get my WWE record, but I'm a sharp in the WWE.
I think it's probably got like 5 losses all of 2024, my G.
Did you happen to catch WWE live in the Intuit Dome in California in Englewood on Netflix?
I didn't get a chance to watch it live, unfortunately. But, John Cena came back and, the tribal chief is there. And, I mean, it was a good opening to the Netflix, partnership that they have. How long are they going to be together? Do they have a lock and step contract for the next 3 or 4 years? Do you know the details?
I don't know how long they have, but I want you to raise the one up and put your finger up.
We're
acknowledging him.
I'm going to acknowledge John Cena.
Yeah. I overall, I give it a B+. I thought it was good. I thought, they booed the shit out of Hulk Hogan, which was funny, which trash ass beer. That could have gone away. I didn't really need to see Hulk Hogan.
The logos on the canvas.
Yeah, I know people were upset about that.
I'm a mark.
And I know Vince McMahon wasn't probably happy because he thinks it's like too gimmicky. But Travis Scott was pretty cool. He definitely got the green light of Smoking Loud out there. On Netflix, they definitely gave him the green light. I guess the only thing I wish they would have done, because casuals who were watching it for the first time on Netflix, they probably didn't know the backstory of the tribal chief and Solo Sikoa. They didn't know the backstory with Liv Morgan and Mommy. I wish they gave a little 2 to 3 minute video beforehand, because people were hitting me up and like, what's this feud about? And I'm like, well, it's like fucking months and years of
You got
build
to
up.
lock in. We got a lot
Yeah.
to tell you.
So I think that's what they could have done different. It felt very big. I'll say that. I loved how, I liked how they opened up with The Rock. I mean, he's a board member. I mean, drinking and driving too. What are we doing? He was out there.
He forgot his lines, and Drew McIntyre was cursing a bunch. And I mean, what are we though, right? We're all steamed to WrestleMania, right, in April. But what do we got? Royal Rumble?
Royal Rumble. And yeah, you mentioned John Cena comes back. He's entering the name. I think he made a great point. He said he's one away from breaking the record of being the all-time champion. And I think, whether you grew up before Joey and myself or you're a new age fan, he's on your Mount Rushmore. He has to be John Cena.
Is that what we're going to get to? We're going to put that up in one of these episodes. Our Mount Rushmore?
We have to. I just don't know if they're going to give him the title. And why would he win the Royal Rumble? That is a grand ticket to headlining WrestleMania. He's lost so many matches. He hasn't won a singles match in years. Why would you prep him up? I guess to prop someone else up, but
no, you don't need to give him the belt. I think it's just his farewell tour, and albeit he shouldn't get a title because there's a lot of wrestlers that deserve it at this point in time. But I mean, mix it up, keep it entertaining, and I'm sure they'll have some story written behind the scenes for WrestleMania with John Cena. Whether he's there again competing or if he's going to help somebody win, I'm sure he's going to be at WrestleMania.
It was cool though, seeing all like the famous people. Shout out Vanessa Hudgens, Rey Mysterio paying tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Macaulay Culkin was there.
Home Alone.
It was sick. Topanga, Eric Matthews was there. It was, and you know what I liked also? They kind of did what the UFC does. They brought a bunch of NXT and SmackDown and other Raw of wrestlers, and they put them in the booth, and they kind of had them cage side and ring side, kind of like what the UFC does with their fight nights, which I thought was pretty cool. They usually don't do that for regular Monday Night Raws. So it felt big. Some storylines closed. You had a belt changeover. Liv Morgan winded up losing to Bayley. I thought it was cool. We saw The Undertaker come out. They put the fist up. Joey, you and I, we love that kind of shit. So I loved it. I thought the first fight was amazing between with the tribal. Even new uniforms for the refs as well. So we're seeing a lot.
Bringing out all the stops.
Yeah, we're bringing out all the stops. It should be big, but overall, give them a B+. Got a little work to do. All right, kid. We got some news. Like I said, I want to start in the PFL. Don Davis, your man.
Oh yeah, what he's got to say?
He said he's announced that elbows will be legal in every single PFL fight in 2025. All elbows, all fights, all the time. You ask for them, you got them.
There's a trade-off with that. Every elbow that lands, you will be reducted. No, I'm just...
You will be reducted money because now it went from $1 million to
500,000. You can't make this shit up. I mean, it's embarrassing.
It's a bad look
because it should have been that all the time. I mean, I don't think there was a reason, I guess, to save face for ESPN, but you made the people pay for the pay-per-view anyway. So it doesn't make any sense. We're now backtracking to kind of, it's like what's happening with the gaming industry. We're like not allowing stuff to be out on the game's initial release, but yeah, we're going by it on the DLC. Like Don Davis, we're not paying the subscription. Okay. It's enough. Just give us fights for free. I'm tired of it. You guys gonna be bankrupt in a year anyway.
I mean, it wasn't sustainable. I thought, it's $1 million. Now it's 500.
Get out, Dakota.
Yeah, no, honestly, she's gonna be.
Dana White could just be petty and say, "Oh, here's a $500,000 signing bonus with us."
I don't know. I just don't think it's a great look. The $1 million really never made sense, and it never really was sustainable, in my opinion. So, not a good look. I think fighters are going to be out. My question to you, outside of the PFL, because no one's really competing with the UFC. Let's be honest here. What is one promotion? Because you dive into, more of the promotions than I do. LFA, One Fight Night, PFL. What is one promotion you are buying stock in 2025? Because I have one that I really would like to buy stock in.
Oh, okay. I was expecting that to go elsewhere. Like where's one getting the money? Remind you, they did have that issue with paying athletes. You know, they've locked in their athletes with the contract.
Or the GFL.
I heard about the GFL. The thing is that it's the issue is that they're trying to make their name off already existing names with the fighters that are already kind of past their prime. You know, I think that's a league that can only sustain itself for a little while as well. I think you got to build yourself up organically, like naturally, like the UFC did. And granted, they went through a lot of tough period. And this may be what we're seeing here, these new promotions going through said tough period. But it doesn't seem that they're in it for the passion. It seems like they're in it for a money grab. That's what I'm kind of seeing through Don Davis, you know. I want to see guys that love fights and we're in there and in control. Like what he's doing is kind of backstabbing Sugar Ray Seppel, who was an ex-fighter and who is out there for the fighters. It was the Professional Fighters League. I think before then it was World Series of Fighting. That's when Justin Gaethje was with them. So if you ask me that question, as opposed to where I thought it was going, who am I going to buy stock in, man? You know.
Do you want to hear mine?
Tell me yours.
My boy Dave Feltman and BKFC. I love them. I think organic growth. They have the stock. They're legal in 32 of 50 states. The two big ones that they need is Vegas and New York. Knucklemania 5 is coming in at the end of the month. They're about to break the gate of the Wells Fargo, and they have guys. They have women as well. I love Dave Feltman's story. He's a fighter. You hear about his story a little bit, but I mean, this guy, you have Conor McGregor, the biggest UFC fighter.
Didn't they split partnership though? They because of the issue. They
stuck by him because Dave Feltman is a loyal guy. They had partnership issues, but they all stood by Dave Feltman. I love BKFC. I think it's a great sport, and everybody, even Dana White said, "Oh, you can't get it sanctioned. You can't get it sanctioned." Look at him 7 years later. 32 of 50 states are legalized now.
Honestly, that's kind of where I was going, you know, as just a general promotion, just based off, you know, the uber violence. You know what I mean? It's like second to none, you know, the bare knuckles. You get signed of relatively close when they bring the stretchers out and game bread. You know, I think that is entertainment and uber violent, but sustainability, I think, is going to be key here. So to your point, I think you're correct. That's what I was going to say. I'm glad you said yours first. You know, hate to align and just kind of take the easy way out here, but I concur. I think BKFC is the promotion that we should invest in. You have options for the MMA fighters. You have options for boxers. You have options for people who are just naturally trying to grow in BKFC itself. So yeah, I guess they check every box.
They got the TV deal with DAZN. They're on Fubo as well. They're finally about to make profitability here in 2025. They have stars like Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez, Knucklemania 5, baby. Yeah. I'm about to fucking take a toll down the I-95.
Yeah, that's why I was like looking at other promotions. And the only one that it's a little biased because I've always been close to them. KSW, based off them getting past 100 pay-per-views, and now they're 101 and plus, just like we made it past 101. In UFC Apex.
They even have a tournament coming up in April, the $25 million tournament for BKFC coming up.
The winner doesn't win $25 million. It's like the pot.
Yeah, everyone's going to get paid, but the top 8 get paid the most. Winner gets $15 million. So, Mike, I'm telling you, they got pockets.
That's where it shows good signs of the health of the organization when they're able to increase the purses, as meanwhile PFL has now just decreased them. So.
It's a shame. PFL is going to go under. That's my prediction.
I hope you have for some of the fighters that haven't been displayed, like our boy Patchy Mix, right?
Yeah,
Johnny.
They all won out.
PFL tour if he ever gets a fight. So
Patricio Pitbull, they've all been on. They said, "Release me, release me." That's not a good look.
I don't know what's worse.
They're
for that. Yeah,
they're like used car salesmen. They're all con artists. These guys, like
no accidents. Nothing's wrong.
Check the Carfax.
Look, the odometer says 50,000. Meanwhile, they rolled it back.
Yeah, exactly. UFC Seattle, we got a main event. Captain Cringe, Henry Cejudo will take on Sang Yadong February 22nd. Kid, if it wasn't the week after Valentine's Day, you would have seen me there. 5 rounds, bantamweight main event. This card is stacked. I love it. We got the co-main event.
the Dominator.
Dominic Cruz against Rob Font. Dom confirms that this will be his last final fight of his career. Can I be honest, since I like the card so much? I fucking despise this fight for Dominic Cruz. Switch it. I wish it was Dominic Cruz versus Henry Cejudo and Song Yadong versus Rob Font.
I like that a little bit more.
Oh, 100%.
Like Cejudo is also on his way out a little bit. But I think it's like if it is Dom Cruz's last fight, you're sure Rob Font ain't going to take him down. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be a good fight. So,
but what does this prove for Dom? Even if he does win.
It's nothing. Just a win on his own means. Like, he always wanted to come back and win in his way. And when he was hurt and he regarded him as one of the best bantamweights of all time, who I still regard, and we keep forgetting about, Dominic Cruz is definitely up there. He comes back and wins in the fashion he does and reclaims his belt, and he did it his way. And I think that's what it is, more or less. He wants to go out on his terms, and that's not granted. Rob Font is a tough fight, so I get your fears. Yeah. But yeah, it does seem that Cejudo's a little closer to being out than a young Song Yadong. But I think Cejudo is trying to make one last stab at the title, and he's got to get through a young and upcoming dude that it comes through a war with Peter Yan, right? Was his last fight Song Yadong?
Yeah.
Right? Or did he have one prior to that? I mean, right after that. But nevertheless, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a prove it for both guys in the main event. And let's see if Dom Cruz can, ride out into the sunset.
Yeah, it's not the best, if I'm being honest. I'd rather see Henry and Dom. That would be a barn burner of a fight. But 6-card main event. You got the third fight of the night, Edson Barbosa versus Steve Garcia.
Yeah, the Mean Machine's going to bring it.
We got Brandon Allen.
Don't sleep on Steve Garcia. 6 KOs in a row. I think he's
That's
got
what I'm saying.
Right now. Yeah,
against a Hall of Famer and Edson Barbosa. You got Brandon Allen taking on Anthony fucking Hernandez. We got Michael Chiesa returning home to Seattle against the very tough TBD. I mean,
very tough TBD, like the vacant champion.
Ian Kutalabe. We got Macy Chazan against Caitlin Vieira. Chidi Njokuanu on the card as well. Like, this is a barn burner of a card, and if it wasn't the week after fucking Valentine's Day where I'm going broke, I mean, I'd fucking be there, baby.
I was gonna ask you. I was like, "Are we going to Seattle?"
Yeah, I would. I mean, this is a card I would love to go to.
Yeah,
especially in Seattle,
and I was gonna say I haven't been out there. I would love to go out west and check.
Yeah. So that's a good card. I'm glad they got that. Let's go to UFC Vegas 104 back at the Apex March 15th. We got 2 really good fights, I think. Damon Blackshear against your boy Cody Gibson and Kurt Holobo against Alexander Hernandez. 2 really good fights at the Apex.
Yeah, I just worry about Kurt Holobo's towards the end of the fight. He got that dog in him, but Father Time's undefeated, and he's past 40. Alexander Hernandez, he at times surprises the heck out of you. Sometimes he feels to be asleep at the wheel, but other times he's doing highlight reel knockouts, and that's why I feel for Holobo. You got to tell me the first fight again.
Cody Gibson and Damon Blackshear.
He's not my boy. That's not my boy. No,
Cody. Yeah, no, he's your boy.
I like Damon Blackshear. I do think Cody Gibson may want to keep it standing a little bit more. Damon Blackshear has that, pretty sure he has that twister finish, does he not?
And that dog.
And and he's a dog. He's got odds out.
I'm just saying he's a dog.
He is a dog. Dog, I mean, it is kind of a battle of styles, a clash of styles. So maybe biased towards my grappler and Damon Blackshear.
But yeah, had some fights that I wanted to announce. So there was nothing to recap because we had our futures episode last week. How you feeling about that?
I like them. We were aligned on some of them. Didn't go over anything.
Yeah.
I hit you with a couple curveballs, but not as bad as last year. I think 2024 we took a lot of liberties.
Yeah, I think we did as
Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor. We were.
I mean, what the fuck was that on our read? I mean, Conor McGregor didn't even fucking fight.
No, here's what as bad as Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Dog, that was the worst one. Congratulations to her. She just had a second child.
Oh wow! Congratulations. Congratulations to Ronda Rousey. All right, kid. That is all the news I got. Before we get into UFC Vegas 101. Live at the Apex, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition with only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick. just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry watching Ohio State rout those fucking Longhorns or an elderberry watching UFC Vegas 101. It doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with our Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle but refreshing taste. I believe here at Axcake Pigs and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. Okay, before we get into the picks, Ohio State, we saw Penn State lose last night. Drew Allard ain't shit. What do we think here for Texas and Ohio State?
Catholics up north, brother.
It's the Catholics versus the convicts.
Brother,
if you know what I mean.
That was what, against Miami?
Penn State.
Yeah, but the originality was when they played Miami. And Miami.
Oh, yeah, no, I would say because
but that's my fear, bro. I counted you out. You know I did. I discredited Ohio State and the athletes they have on the offensive side of the ball, and their defense seems to be locking in. So Texas barely got away with one last time out. I'm going to go with Ohio State facing Notre Dame in the final.
I wish. I really do.
I know where you're
head's
at. Ohio State wouldn't hold damn thing. Ryan Day, you're here for another 10 years, man.
Yeah, we're here, kid.
Lose to Michigan all you want if you wouldn't.
It doesn't fucking matter. All right, kid, let's get to it. Mackenzie Dern headlining this in a strawweight fight. We got a rematch of the strawweight bout from 2019. Amanda Ribas.
The same weight class?
I think so. I don't know.
It
had to have
been.
been.
Amanda Ribas was going to flyweight.
She did win that fight though back in 2029. But Mackenzie Dern's been both two different fighters. I'll say that. But early start time here. Prelims go off at 4 p.m. here on the East Coast. Main card starts at 7 o'clock. So, okay, we're gonna be watching playoff football and UFC tomorrow. Okay, what do you say? What do you start us off?
Let's go. First fight of the night in 2025. We're back. UFC. Can't wait. I'm excited. I had to get involved as soon as it hits. And wouldn't you know it? They have to put against one of my, fellow guys who's visited our academy down here in Myrtle Beach. And that's Joe Selecki, New Jersey dude, Philadelphia guy, South Carolina, coming and training, doing everything he can. And to fade him in a spot, a veteran like that, it's tough for me to do so because you would look at Nurullo Alev and say that he's a newcomer, but granted, he's already had 2 UFC fights, so he is not a newcomer. And him being the guy who was scheduled to fight and Joe Selecki coming in on short notice. Sometimes I favor the short notice guys, but I don't think the UFC did much favors for Joe Selecki. Maybe they're paying him well, and that's why he accepted his fight. Also to get back on the track and get a win after he got the slam KO decision loss and then got a win. He's trying to put the wins together. Plus 305 in the lightweight division, man, to start us off in the 2025 year. I can't do it. I'm going to go take the long shot favorite, though, Nurullo Alev, the Tajik Eagle, to start us off. I know it's a heavy favorite, very chalky, but he's going to be incorporated on a parlay I have for you. So confident that he'll get it done against Joe Selecki. He's been in the UFC. I think he's explosive, and I think he'll handle with the jiu-jitsu that Joe Selecki throws his way. So, yeah, I'm going to take the heavy chalk to start us off. And we move to the women's strawweight division. Victoria Dudikova is plus 700, man. You already know where I'm heading with this. And the reason why I kind of said it that way is because she's fighting your girl. You met the team, you met her coaches, and you met herself, Fatima Klein, at minus 650, right? And you would think that I was concerned because I knew Dylan met him and, is possibly going to take a play on them. And I was very tempted to do so. But we've seen this type of matchup literally the end of 2024 with the Buckley and Covington main event, the literal last event of 2024. One of the first fights of the evening was Pierre Rodriguez taking on Josephine Knutson. So you have Fatima Klein, who reminds me of Josephine Knutson, a stand-up, striking-oriented fighter, compared to Pierre Rodriguez, to Victoria Dudikova, who wrestle heavy and grapple heavy. And granted, I'm biased towards the grapplers and wrestlers. I just think that there's more of a time with the women's fights that they will wind up in a clinch position or against the cage or something where they're grabbing one another. And then you got to, of course, go with the grappling heavy fighter. So at plus 700, granted the odds are tremendously, stacked against her. I think it shouldn't be this big of a dog in any women's fight. I just feel like they're a lot closer than they are on paper and when it comes to getting into that octagon. So I'm going to take a stab at the big dog here. I think it's the heaviest card. We're starting off 2025, right? Went with a heavy favorite, possibly the heaviest on the card, right to the heaviest dog on the card. Victoria Dudikova, give us a treat. plus 700. Start us up.
I love it. Hunting for dogs.
Absolutely. I know, granted, if Fatima Klein wins, show her skill set and, prove me wrong, I'll be happy because we know her all too well. So let's go to the next fight, the light heavyweight division. No official play for me here. I just thought to mention Magomed Gadzhimagomedov is minus 220, and he's taking on Bruno Lopez at plus 200. Too close to tell. I wasn't really going to try to fade any Brazilians or any close to Russian dudes here. You got both fighting each other at the light heavyweight weight class. I think when you're that big, I can only take one from Bruno Lopez to knock him out, as he does so often. And Gadzhimagomedov, I mean, he could decision him. He could outclass him. He could wrestle him, or he could knock him out as well. Didn't know where to go. I'm staying away from this fight. Let's go to another women's fight here. So I had one dog to start us off, and I have a second one again. A lot of people are looking at Ernesto Carciata. I think she's Lithuanian, just like Rose Namajunas is, as a minus 250 dog, and that she's going to be a completely skillful of Nicole Cagliari. But I've looked at the tape, and Cagliari has a lot of finishes under her belt. Granted, maybe at not the highest level of competition, but man, there's something in the water of these Brazilians, both men and female, and they come out guns a-blazing, looking for the finish, just aggressive and wanting to kill. And man, you can't teach that dog. It's not always about the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. And that stands out to me at plus 250, going with another dog spot for the women's fight, taking Nicole Cagliari again in the flyweight division for the women. So 2 dogs for the women. I might have something cooking in a parlay for us towards the end. Let's go. Now we made it to the welterweight division, and Preston Parsons, man, he's got a big test here at plus 285. Stepping in on short notice is Oklahoma State wrestler Jacoby Smith at minus 360. D-Rock, I'm going to hand this off to you for the first pick of 2025. What do you have?
The Cowboys, baby, Oklahoma. You got to go with my wrestlers, Jacoby Smith, but I'm going to take him via KO TKO at plus 115. Obviously, he's known for his wrestling abilities, and, that viral went takedown when he was on the Dana White Contender Smith series. He's a great prospect, and, we're all hyped on him for good reason, I think. And I just don't think he's not only had the ability to finish this one with the ground and pound, but he's been a missile with that right hand on the feet as well. I think even if it stands, he could put him out. So the odds are obviously favored to him. So on short notice, that right hand, I think, could find a very chinny, grappling heavy Preston Parsons. So I think he's going to take one, and I think he's going to get the knockout or the ground and pound. So give me Jacoby Smith via KO TKO at plus 115.
Yeah, you said it exactly that. Preston Parsons' game is his nickname, pressure. He wants to put the pressure on you, wrestle you out. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He competes in gi, no gi. He's doing grappling tournaments, IBJJF. I mean, you name it, Preston Parsons there. But there's just something to be said about these high-level wrestlers, man, and you just can't teach that. Jacoby Smith's at a wrestling level that is going to be superior to most UFC fighters on the roster, regardless of where they come from. So it's hard for me to fade Jacoby Smith in this spot. I've seen him, like you said, in a Dana White Contender Series, a lot of TKO finishes here, but I do think he could submit him. He can use that pressure against Parsons, and let's say Parsons does surprise us and, maybe get him in a wrestling spot. I think the sweeps, the switches that Jacoby Smith will possess from all his years of wrestling are going to actually come into play. And that's where if, let's say Parsons has his back, Jacoby Smith goes in and just switches on him, and he's got his back, and he just starts nailing, and there comes your KO TKO. So yeah, I'm going to take him as a confidence pick, just like I did with the first pick of the evening. So give me Nuro Aliev as a minus 425 and Jacoby Smith as minus 360. 2 of the legs there. Make a confidence parlay of plus 100, getting even money for 2 heavy favorites. And that's all I got for that 2-leg parlay. It's a confidence parlay to start us in 2025. So I didn't know where to lean with this next fight, man. It's a lightweight matchup between the always game Trey Ogden. Dude's a coach. He's training the next generation of fighters to come up. He's doing a good job at that. And he's a very tough guy to finish. I don't think he's ever been finished by KO TKO. Granted, he might not have one himself, but, he's just a crafty veteran who knows how to get the job done. Thiago Moises, on the other hand, at times, like, there's a lot of these guys that come out here. They're a little inconsistent, but at times he looks world-class, and other times he falls flat on his face. So that's why it wasn't enough to give him a pick for me, but I will be leaning with Thiago Moises. D-Rock, are you on the same page?
I am not. Trey Ogden, he might not be the most flashiest of guys, but he's been really solid. He works hard, blue-collar guy, especially in his last 3 fights. He's positioned over submissions over the mat as well. But I just think that allows him to stay safe and win rounds as well. So in this one, I do think he should be able to wrestle, stay out of trouble on top. And even if he chooses to keep this fight on the feet, this is a type of fight I think he could win in that realm as well. So plus 155, I'm going hunting, baby. Give me Trey Ogden on the money line, plus 155.
Start it up, bro. That's just like me. Favorite and dog. I love it. Great way to start off 2025. So let's move on to this is like the featured bout of the preliminary card, is it not? We have a middleweight matchup between Marco Tulio, Dana White Contender Series alum, a lot of knockouts under his belt, a minus 400 stepping in his first official UFC fight against Ihor Potieria, plus 380. You know the Ukrainian always comes in and throws like standing kicks within the clinch distance. I mean, he is a good striker, but I just don't think his overall game comes into play. But Marco Tulio, I do think he has a little bit of a gift in terms of finding the KO. I think he has the ability to do so. He's in tremendous shape at 30 years old. I like everything Matuto does. That's why I took him via KO, TKO, and the under. I think he was a double down on the Dana White Contender Series plays I had. And so I got to go with it here. He's not as unfortunate as it is fighting a tough dude on his first UFC notice. I think he'll get the job done. I'm going to go with the prop pick. Matuto via KO TKO at minus 180. That's Marco Tulio squeezing the minus 400 odds down the best I could because I do feel he'll find the chin in this one. And now the main event of the preliminary card, and it's in the flyweight division. I think they put the flyweights here because both guys, man, whether it's one way on the feet with Jose Johnson at minus 180, striking, knocking people out, or if it's submission based with Felipe Bunez at plus 170. And, you know, this might be the only occasion where I'm not going to be biased towards my grapplers because I think it's a fair shot either way. Like I said, Jose Johnson being 6'1", 6'2" at 125, it just doesn't make sense. The dude makes weight and he looks massive in there. And, you know, Felipe Bunez, he can take him to the ground and have an advantage because on the ground, you're the same size. So I expect it to go one way or the other, but I do expect it to finish before it gets to the judges. So I'm going to take the under here. Under 2.5 at plus 115, getting a little bit of plus money for some flyweights that you don't expect who have the finishing capability. Lock it in.
Yeah, kid. Perhaps probably one of my favorite fights on the card. I think this future prelim, you know, the stature of this man, he's 6 foot at flyweight. He is a giant. It's hard to strike with him on the outside as well. Also, in his last few fights, I feel like he's really shown that he could round out his game. He could wrestle as well. He's picked up a few submissions as well. And if Burns tries to close the distance, man, I expect him to have even more trouble that he could even land on the outside. So I don't think this is going to be an easy fight for him. It's a little chalky. Maybe you want to put him in one of your parlays. I think it's fine. Minus 162. Give me Jose Johnson straight up on the money line.
I like that, man. That reach is very significant. Not many fighters can overcome that.
6 foot at flyweight. Holy fuck.
I'm trying to think of like big, tall guys in those divisions. Joel Alvarez comes to mind in light heavyweight division. Champ. Sean O'Malley's rather tall for a bantamweight, right? Yeah, there's a lot of those guys. So
Alexander Volkov, heavyweight.
Hey, Stefan Struve, shout out. Yeah. All right, let's go to the main card, the first main card of 2025 in the UFC, and it takes place at the Apex, hence the name, UFC Vegas 101. We've made it past 100, D-Rock.
I love it.
This first fight starts in a welterweight division, 170 pounds. Puna Haley Soriano is plus 180 as a dog, taking on Uros Medic, the doctor, at minus 190. You know, it's kind of betting with my heart here. I was going Uros Medic all the way. Puna Haley Soriano surprised me with the submission finish as of late because you know he likes to throw hands, man. Our Polynesian fighters, man, they got hands for days. They got power. They know how to sling some leather. But Uros Medic, granted, he had that tough loss to everyone. This dude catches everyone. Why am I drawing a blank? I just had his name on the top. Julian Erosa. Yes. Juicy J, bro, catch. He doesn't catch? You know what I'm saying? So it's bound to happen after going on a little bit of a tear the doctor has. He got caught by Juicy J. It's going to happen. He's going to catch you in the darts, a guillotine, something with those long limbs. Hence the nickname Juicy J. Love that dude. But Uros Medic here at minus 190, kind of not playable. You maybe want to play a prop on him if you're going to take him, unless you're feeling the dog. So that's why I was undecided, but I, wanted to take my heart out of it and just take a lean. Got to go with the official lean for Uros Medic because he puts on exciting fights, and I just can't put the actual bet out there because my heart gets ripped out every time I do that. So not going to start 2025 off that note. let's move to the next fight. I like this fight. I mean, I don't think a lot of people know in the featherweight division about Austin Bashi too much. He's minus 230 here against C-Rod, bro. Christian Rodriguez plus 225. You know, I think a lot of people are counting C-Rod out a little too much for my liking, you know, jumping on the Bashi bandwagon and not seeing too much of him worries me a little bit. But I looked into this guy, you know, Austin Bashi is a competitive wrestler throughout his high school career and into college. And then what does he do when he graduates college? Full head into mixed martial arts, joining the amateur bouts, the amateur ranks, and winning. And hasn't lost an amateur fight in his whole career. And then constantly competing in grappling tournaments. No gi, won a couple of those. I'm sure he's competed in the gi, and if not, he's certainly training in his gym in the gi. So I think Austin Bashi, 24 years of age, I think they put him against Christian Rodriguez to showcase his skill set. If he can get it past him, I mean, you can put this guy in like the top 25, to be completely honest. A win over Christian Rodriguez does a lot for you in this position. So, I mean, a way to do that too would be getting that job done convincingly, right? Getting a finish here. I think Christian Rodriguez is too skilled on the feet to get knocked out. I think Austin Bashi may resort to grappling a lot, and that bodes to be a decision. But like I said, I think Bashi needs to hunt it. He needs a hunt for a submission. And granted, he's got a lot of KO/TKOs under his belt. There are some submissions hidden amongst there. So I'm going to go and take Bashi via submission at plus 450. I think the no-gi IBJJF tournaments, Naga, everything that he's done, all the wrestling will come into fruition, and I think he'll lock in a submission, whether it's a rear naked choke or something. So, yeah, I'm going to side with the unexpected favorite here, who's kind of a rookie compared to a veteran in C-Rod, and squeeze that minus 230 down with the prop bet. Bashi via submission at plus 450.
The kid is for real. I'll say that. And the lines are indicating that he is for real. I have breaking news to interrupt real quick. We have a main event, UFC Mexico City.
Woo!
Diego Lopez taking on Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez. Yeah.
Holy. I think that's the thing about Diego Lopez is that unfortunately he's got to, he's going to have to fight these fights.
Yeah.
Yair Rodriguez, you would think Diego Lopez is closer to a title shot than Yair, of course. But it's like Yair stomping ground. You know what I mean? The Mexican fans are going to come out in force for Yair and Diego Lopez, who trains in Mexico, right? Lobo team. So, man, I love that. We kind of call Diego Lopez. I just did not expect El Pantera to be there.
Well, that just indicates Volkanovski is going to get the fight. He's going to get the rematch against.
I was like, watch out for that future. That Volk future is very sneaky compared to the Topuria one, which was John.
He's going to get that rematch, and they're saying, Diego Lopez, you fight this fight for us. You headline Mexico City. If you win this fight and you go out and start Yair Rodriguez, you're next.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
I
wanted to let you know that.
No, thank you for breaking that news, man. But we have the next fight. UFC Vegas 101. We'll reel it back. And it's a middleweight matchup I'm seeing between Action Man, Chris Curtis at plus 225, taking on Roman Kopylov at minus 250. I think Chris Curtis gets counted out a lot. This dude is just an absolute baller. Like, I just don't know what to really, the words don't really describe what Chris Curtis goes out there and does, look back at the Brendan Allen fight. Mind you, they fought prior to that fight, and Chris Curtis showed him levels, but then Brendan Allen has improved a lot. And mind you, when it got to late, Chris Curtis was in there swinging and he could have won that fight. So, I mean, still to this day, you look at Chris Curtis, he's been finished by KO/TKO once in his career. I think it was late in the fight, and it was a TKO finish, and he's got subbed like once, and he was caught in the first round. So the likelihood that Chris Curtis is going to get finished here, I think the odds are actually in his favor. So the favorite for Kopylov is a little surprising to me. I think the line should have been squeezed a little bit closer just because of that. It's going to take a lot from Kopylov to get this finish. So though it's going to take a lot to get the finish, I do think that Kopylov is more skillful. I think Chris Curtis will have to stick behind the jab and obviously keep Kopylov out of timing to win this. But I just think I think Kopylov's going to be one step ahead of Chris Curtis at his age. The fights that he's had in his past, I think he's now a little more seasoned and he's ready for a fight against the Action Man. So, like I said, I got to give Chris Curtis his flowers. He's not going to get finished in this one, but I just think he may be a little outclassed by Kopylov, squeezing that minus 250 down to a favorited prop, which is Kopylov via decision at minus 140. Seems the odds also agree with me.
Yeah, I like that. And he's been training in Dagestan with Khabib and the team. So, yeah, I like the Action Man. I like Chris Curtis, but yeah, I would agree. I think Roman Kopylov is the better fighter right now.
Yeah, and so I gave you KO TKO from Matuto, Marco Tulio, submission from Austin Bashi, and now a decision. So might as well give you my second parlay. It is a 3-leg cycle parlay. We're going for the cycle
Wow.
here. We got a KO, we got a sub, and we got a decision. All that combined for plus 1367.
Wow.
Props. I have no official play in the featured bout for the evening because I will get my heart ripped out if I choose one of these fighters. It's between Abdul Razak Al Hassan at plus 250 and Cesar Almeida at minus 275. Look, you take the heavy favorite here, most likely going to lose. You take the dog trying to get that first round knockout, which is going to be that or it's going to be bust. It's boom or bust for Al Hassan. Either way, I'm going to get my heart ripped out. So I'm going to stay away from it. No official play. Had to do that one quick for you because we made it to the co-main event of UFC Vegas 101, and this will be at 170. It's between Santiago Ponzinibbio. He's back. You know, he had the last fight last year, and I think he's coming. He's coming for all the fighters at welterweight. It is a pick'em though against Mozambique, Charleston Harris, and it was very difficult to really lean with this. You know, Ponzinibbio's a little like older in his career. As Carlston Harrison is also old in age, they kind of match up. I think Harrison is a little older, but just the way the fight careers have gone, I think Ponzinibbio has taken a little more damage than Harris. But you know, at a pick'em, man, I just feel like you get time to rejuvenate your career. They put you in the co-main event slot. You're speaking for UFC Espanol. You know, I think it's a perfect fight to get back. You know, Carlston Harrison is another one who's a little inconsistent, though he has finishing capability. I think that Santiago Ponzinibbio is going to have a little more reach, is going to be a little more schooled on the feet. And if it hits the mat, I'm sure he'll be comfortable there. So at a pick'em, I'm just going to go with who I like. I'm going to take Santiago Ponzinibbio in the co-main event.
A little bounce back. I saw him live in Denver, and he sold on me.
But, you know, 2025, it's a new year. Might be a new Santiago. How you doing?
How you doing?
So here we are, the main event, strawweight division, 115 pounds. We have your girl, Mackenzie Dern, as a dog. Speaking of dog, did you see her dog?
Oh,
Big
great.
dog. Big dog. That's me. Big dog. Hunting
Big
big dog.
Joe.
See this? Amanda Hebos, minus 200. I could get why she's a favorite based off the first fight.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of the most difficult things in sports. We talked about it all the time, is beating the same person twice. And I think that Mackenzie Dern is a different fighter. Mind you, 5 years ago, she wasn't as schooled on the feet as she is now. I think she's grown vastly through all the trials and tribulations she's had in her fight, in her life. I'm going to take Mackenzie Dern here as a dog, plus 180. I wanted to just cap it off because that's going to round out my dog parlay. I got a 3-leg women's dog parlay. Dudakova plus 700, Cagliari at plus 250, and Dern at plus 180, giving you the biggest odds on the parlay for the evening. Plus 7740, 7,740 to combine the dog on the girls' fights.
I
so
love it.
Let's see what you got, D-Rock.
Yeah, like you said, we saw this fight back in 2029, and, you know, Hebos won that fight pretty convincingly, but you're right. Both fighters, not even just Mackenzie Dern, both fighters are much different here. Hebos, she was able to stuff all 5 takedowns last fight, but I just don't expect that to happen. Dern, I think she has the power advantage. She's back working with Priscilla again, which I think is going to benefit her and her striking and just her overall game. And that was back in the time 5 years ago. She was missing weight. She's a totally different person after she had her little girl. So I think Amanda Hebos is a really good fighter. I do think this goes all 5 rounds, but if Dern is able to get the fight to the floor, she has the advantage there. She will look to submit you. At plus 164 where it stands now, the value is with Mackenzie Dern. Just like her dog, we're going dog hunting as well. I think she edges out a very close fight. Give me the dog, Mackenzie Dern. And she keeps it rolling here at plus 164, kid.
I love it, bro. Yeah, man. Like we said, we had a little bit of everything, a little totals, a little props, straight ups, dogs, and of course, parlays. We're going to make you some money. As if not showed in 2023 and 2024 that we're profitable, there will be some losses scattered amongst there. So that's why we always say, bet responsibly, people, please. It's 2025.
All right, kid. 10 seconds left. Like we said, we got a 2-pack tonight, actually. We got LFA 199 and One Fight Night 27. So what do you got? 2 main event fights.
Yeah, sorry, we got a Paisano on you, man. Goodfellas was on the other day. I was just, what am I, a schmuck on wheels? How do I make you laugh? What am I, a clown? Am I? All right,
Yeah, exactly. Great movie.
It'd be the first 10 seconds left segment since Seika Izawa moved to 15-0 at Risen 49 during New Year's Eve. If you remember, I had that play out there. It hit. And we're going to keep the trend going in 2025. Like you said, One Fight Night 27 is tonight at 8. The lightweight championship will be against Tang Kai and Akbar Abdullayev. Akbar Abdullayev has never lost a fight. Very difficult to pick against him, but I just don't think he's fought someone as explosive as Tang Kai. I'm going to take this dude. I think he'll knock him out. Give me Tang Kai in that one. And then LFA 199, Ari Farias is taking on Eric Visconde. I just like Farias is more explosive, and he has more grappling, recognition. Everything that he's done in his past, I think, will come and rear its head here at 199, getting LFA to 200 pay-per-view. So give me Ari Farias to cap off. 10 seconds left.
I love it. Good luck, Joe. Let's start 10 seconds left in 2025 in the winning circle. Real quick, I just really want to end it on more of a more serious note. Everyone that's dealing with the fires over there in California, our hearts go out to you, praying for you. And I have a cousin out there in California as well. So it's affecting everyone. I've seen a lot of hate online as well. And it's just very unfortunate. It doesn't matter who these people are, but these homes are being destroyed, and it's quite awful.
I heard the Palisades.
Yeah. So if you want to help, I encourage everyone, if you can, redcross.org/donate. Do any amount helps. I've donated. I've reached out to my family in California as well. So hearts and prayers. Yeah, everyone is good. They evacuated. House is okay, thankfully. So yeah, just, our hearts and prayers go out to them. Intuit Dome, obviously be on the lookout as well, because the fights in 10 days are over there. They're monitoring the situation right now. SoFi, they changed the game for Monday night to go to Arizona. They're not playing in SoFi on Monday night for the wild card game. So right now, the UFC doesn't plan on on moving, but anything can change. And it is worth noting the T-Mobile Arena has nothing booked next Saturday. So if they do want to move it, most likely will be in the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. But yeah, hearts and prayers, everyone out to California. Anything else, Joe?
And let's show support. If they do move these locations, everyone who's in that area, come out and show your support, because I think at the end of the day, those ticket sales will be put right back towards the efforts. So let's do it the right way.
100%. Well, good luck this weekend. God bless.